1, 2, 3, and 4.
Welcome to Beer Gut Sports Nuts. It's a special episode today. It's your boy Trevor and I, dynamic duo. We've got the madness, March Madness. It is time to talk. It's finally time to give a damn about college basketball again. Let's fucking go. Casual gambling. Love to see it. Kick us off.
Only casual because Zach's not here right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, as Nebraska fans, it's hard to be all in the madness for the March. But.
Right, unless you're a J-sker. I've heard.
Yeah.
There's some out there, but
they're in there.
But we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
I'd say let's start this off with the play-in games, the first four in. Before we talk about the games, what do you think of the play-in games? Do you think they should be there, or what's your take?
I don't have a problem with them existing, but I don't understand the logic behind playing in for the 11 seed. In my little peanut brain, I think, hey, there's 4 play-in games. Hey, there's 4 16 seeds. Coincidence? I think not. But for whatever reason, they play in for the 11, and I'm sure there's a reason, but I don't understand it. What about you?
I don't get it, honestly. Especially, I think at least three or four of these teams won their conference championship game. Mm-hmm. They need to be in the first round.
Yeah,
that's the only goal to make the tournament. You have to win your conference.
Right.
You win it, you should be able to be in it.
I agree with that. I think there's plenty of spots to have a spot allocated to that.
And I do understand a little bit with the Michigan State UCLA, but I kind of also want, like, the St. Mary's when they play against Gonzaga.
Right.
They're the second best team in that conference. Maybe give them the playing game. The lower seeds where they don't really have a chance. A lot of them just like
you get more exposure to some of these smaller conference teams.
Oh yeah. And I think we should go back to the 2, not 4 games. It's just
it's getting carried away with it.
Oh yeah,
now.
It's excessive. We need to add those 2 games for the college football playoff, which we can talk about later.
Right. Well, shoot, next thing you know, they're gonna have so many playing games, it'll just be 128 team bracket.
Why even have a season? Just start off 1 through 320 or whatever it is.
Straight to a single elimination gauntlet. It'll just be the preseason games on whatever cargo ship or the Navy destroyer is in the sea, and then you just jump right into tournament time.
Yeah.
Grab your popcorn for that.
What? Hey, hot takes, we'll take it. Hot takes, average snakes. It's the new one.
All like I touched on in the quickies, all snakes are welcome. I will say the only play-in game I give a damn about is the Michigan State UCLA one. Probably just because of the Big Ten connection, really. And I think I didn't spend much time on it because it's a play-in game, but I'm confident enough. I almost want to bet Michigan State to cover. I think they've got them in a close matchup there, but I think they're kind of underrating Michigan State. Just the old iron sharpens iron.
Yeah,
Big Ten. They played some tough teams.
I'm going hard on Michigan State. UCLA, they started off hot. I think they had a few injuries. The last 4 games they dropped of the season, and they
can't come in ice cold to the tournament.
And it wasn't it wasn't a couple points here and there. They were pretty bad.
Yeah.
And with Michigan State, Tom Izzo, you can't go wrong with him in the tournament. I think he's done better with lower expectations in a tournament than he has when he's number 1 or 2 seed.
Yeah, on my super secret spreadsheet that I stole off the internet, I think he's been one of the major outperformers in terms of his team when they outperforming the seed that they come into in terms of expected wins. So I think they're definitely a team to keep an eye on that can make a run from that spot.
Yeah, they started off the season pretty slow. They did beat Duke, I believe, at the start of the season. But
any other season, that would be an accomplishment.
Yeah, but Duke is a whole other thing where they're not even in it now. Yeah. But they beat them when Duke was still technically Duke.
Yeah.
I mean,
before Duke opted out of the season to save face.
They just beat Michigan. They played them twice in a row, so that helps.
They have marquee wins.
Yeah.
And it's, and really, I don't think they've dropped that many games to teams that they shouldn't drop them to. I'm trying to pull up my cheat sheet here, but I am ill prepared. So I'm just going to stick with that take off of my gut.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember if they beat Ohio State or if they came pretty damn close to it. Mm-hmm. They could have knocked them. And that at the end of the year, they played better. The second half of the season, I think they went maybe 2 or 3 losses in the last 10 games or something. So they're definitely coming to their own.
Yeah, I'm high on them.
Yeah.
High on life.
Yeah, that stats aren't there, but
speaking of coming in cold to the tournament, I kind of want to touch on Creighton.
Yep.
I can't say that.
Just a hop, skip, and a jump away.
Just a hop, skip, a hop, skip, and a jump. Man, I was looking at their seeding. I was trying to get ahead of myself and look at Creighton Gonzaga in game 3 of the tournament.
Yep, that would have been Sweet 16.
But then, man, the more I get looking, it's the Caucasian on the plantation, Mr. Greg McDermott.
Man,
it seems like he tends to underperform in the tournament. I mean, I think out of the last 8 appearances, they've netted 3 wins total.
Yep.
They tend to underperform their seeding. And, after watching that abomination of a Big East championship game that they put up, it's tough with, I think, the media distraction coming in with that slow momentum, I think, and just traditional underperformance. I kind of think all the warning signs are there for an upset in the first round there against UC Santa Barbara. It's a game I have my eye on, and honestly, part of me wants to, bet the money line, hammer it, but it's
I want to. What is that money line?
It's like 3.
I could take that too.
75, and honestly, it's the odds have gotten better. I need my. Oh wait,
I might take a few money lines because even if you lose 3 out of the 4, you still might make money out of the 1.
Oh, I lied. Not 355. It's moved. You've gotten better odds if you go Santa Barbara money line. It's moved from plus 235 to plus 255. So you double and a half? I don't know what the details are. Or no.
255? No, that's
kind of bad. Well, you bet 100, you get what? 355 back?
We'll have Zach let us know.
Yeah, exactly. our resident expert. We'll send that snail mail to Japan.
That game I really didn't look too much into. I think Creighton's good enough to win that game. It's correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Creighton has won 2 games in a row in the NCAA tournament.
No, not in the last 8 years, I don't think. I think they've been at best one and done, if not first round exit.
So I remember when Nate Funk was there.
Yeah.
We were going deep. When they were, I think, a 10 or a 7 seed, and they won the game, and I remember them saying they haven't won 2 games in a row in the tournament. They never got past the second round.
I believe that is correct. And I think that's one of the reasons why, I don't know, maybe they proved me wrong. And really, I think they should beat a UC Santa Barbara. I think they just have too much risk of a bad shooting night tanking their tournament chances. Honestly, that kind of goes for any team. But I think they're more susceptible to it than a lot of other teams. And another thing I saw, it's they're outside of Iona, they're the worst team in the tournament in terms of points per game on the road versus home. They really score a lot less on the road. So I think that they're not comfortable when they're outside of their plantation.
Oh god!
Sorry, I got to stop doing that.
Getting off the plantation.
I got to stop doing that.
Is there any Omaha games, or did they do away with that this year?
You know what?
I thought there was an Omaha.
That's another area where my research lacked. I did not pay attention at all to.
You would think we would know. Right. I know the volleyball, they're having the entire tournament here.
Oh yeah,
which I'm a huge volleyball guy. So
well, I think as Nebraska fans, we have to be now. It's kind of
we're a volleyball school.
It's obviously.
No, but Creighton,
Suck at Ohio State. Take that home.
We're 1-1 this year with them.
Oh shit, we dropped that second game?
Yep.
Oh,
we lost in 5 sets. They came back and beat us. Yeah.
I was just thinking of the first one we beat them, where we were down 0-2.
Yep. Oh, I was at my parents watching that, and I was getting pretty hyped. It felt good.
Sorry, I'm still a transitioning volleyball fan. I'm part of the way there. I'm not all the way.
Creighton, I actually have them get into the Sweet 16 for the first time in history. Correct me if I'm wrong. First time in history. But they're going to beat Ohio, who's going to knock off Virginia. I'm calling that upset.
I like it.
Not just because UMBC did it, and I halfway called that one. Brett and Travis were there at Mike's old house. We were
Eat it, birthday boy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Happy
heart out.
birthday!
Yeah.
Shout out. Sorry you couldn't be here. You're too busy having fun.
Yeah.
No, I have them. Ohio's going to shoot lights out. Virginia plays half court ball. Ohio's small. They're gonna hit their shots just to get the dub. So I think that's.
I like it.
The tournament. That's all I'm going to go into later with another hot take of tournaments. Have been notorious for the 3-point shots to go pretty far in this. So
yeah, well, and that's like the college game is kind of starting to mimic the NBA game a little bit too, where most of the teams are it's either you're shooting at the rim or you're shooting threes, and really have kind of done away with those longer twos.
I think it's the opposite. The college game has gone into the NBA.
I guess it depends on which team. I think some of the better teams are starting to do that, but then I'm looking at Wisconsin's shot chart, and they're still stuck in.
Yeah. Well, Wisconsin's a half-court team, just like Virginia, except Wisconsin has more shooters than Virginia does. Virginia, they're good with scoring 50 points a game and winning.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and they do that. I mean, they maybe not quite 50, but they'll be close at like 54. Which I was going to do a hot take with Abilene Christian. They held Texas Tech to 51 points this year.
What?
But they still lost. They scored 44.
Oh no, baby! What is you doing?
44. Which I thought that was bizarre. I was looking at that.
So are you putting the upset alert on Texas there?
Absolutely not. Not in that game.
Okay, just check.
I do. So bring it back to Michigan State. So Michigan State is going to win that play-in game and then knock off BYU. And then they're going to come back and beat Texas in that second round.
Okay.
I'm calling Michigan State's going to make it to the Sweet 16.
Okay. I subscribe to this this timeline.
It's Tom Izzo. He's hot, but he's gonna come with a hot Bama team, which I'll let you take over the Bama because I know you're.
Hey, just like horns down. Fuck Bama.
Stop Tide or
Stop Tide. Yeah,
Stop Tide. We ain't rolling.
Yeah, ain't rolling here. Let's go, Iona, baby. Louisville might have got the shaft, but Rick Pitino didn't. And really, this is more of a speaking with the heart instead of the head type moment here. But come on, Iona, light it up from 3. I know Alabama will probably outshoot, and they're tough matchup, but first round exit would be dope.
I think Alabama's younger, aren't they? Or do they?
So maybe nerves get to them, and they're not an efficient team. I noticed that they play high pace and they shoot fairly well, but their efficiency is not on par with some of the other top teams.
They were very hot at the start of the season. I think they kind of started to fall off, or the hype got to them. I'm not sure, or just people stopped talking about them because they realized they were good, and we're like, let's stop having Alabama sports being good.
I'll settle. For taking the spotlight off of them. I'll settle for that. But
it's like Nate Saban, the head coach for the Alabama basketball team. Yeah, he's got a mustache.
Exactly.
Stop.
It's the same guy paying the recruits. I don't understand. But no, I'm going. I'm like I said, betting with my heart on Iona. I'm not betting that game. That's kind of suicide.
Yeah.
But I kind of like. I'm stealing somebody else's take, but I think Connecticut might give Alabama a tough run. So that might be my secondary hope there. I think I'm just going to go against Alabama every step of the way, and then pray that it works out before the Elite Eight. Really.
Are you going to do your?
But I mean, I don't think they get by Texas. Honestly, I think.
Well, they won't even play Texas. Michigan State.
Facts.
I got that one.
Facts.
I honestly, Texas all year hasn't impressed me at all. Mm-hmm. They've squeaked out wins when they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
I mean, win's a win.
Right.
But it didn't look pretty, and I don't think they're going to carry this over. Did they win the Big 12? I think they won the Big 12.
So.
They got beat by Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State got beat by them in the championship game by, it was pretty close, maybe.
Which doesn't bode well for them. Another stolen stat. Only, I think, 2 out of the last 8 champions won their conference.
Oh, yeah.
So it's...
I mean, that's hard to do. It's hard to keep winning.
Right? Just like you can't come in too cold to the tournament, you can't come in too hot, as they say. I don't think they say that.
Except for Kemba Walker and the Connecticut team.
Yeah.
From, what was that, back in 2010? Or 8 or 9
so.
or something.
I don't know. I'm not good with history.
Kemba Walker with Lamb. I was going to say CD Lamb, but that's football. That's it was a Lamb. They both played for Charlotte, I believe. They came in hot. They won. They shouldn't have won their tournament. I don't think they would have went to the tournament if they didn't win the Pac-12 or Pac-10 at that time. But anyways.
I'd rather come in hot than cold, to be honest with you.
Oh,
I just thought that was an
absolutely.
interesting stat, especially with, how many, powerhouse teams,
Oh, yeah.
win their conference.
We did kind of skip over our boy Zach's Iowa team.
That is true. Honestly,
because I don't think they're the second worst second seeded team.
which honestly isn't that bad overall.
Even though technically they're the first rated second seed team or second seed team.
I think they, I don't mind their path to at least Gonzaga. I don't like that for them, but I think Oregon and USC could both be sleepers. I'm not a Kansas believer. I'm not really a Kansas believer this year.
I wasn't at the start, but kind of like Michigan State.
Yeah.
They're like, wait a minute, we're Kansas. We need to be good. So they
just turned it on.
Yeah, they just turned it back on. So I was, and I know Brett was very happy that they were bad at the start of the year. Mm-hmm. First time since the 70s or 60s that
if you want to talk about bad,
Duke, Kansas, North Carolina, and somebody else Kentucky wasn't ranked in the top 25.
Mm-hmm. It's like
60 years since that's happened.
Hell froze over.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
it's been a weird year, so
I don't think I'll bet against Iowa at any step of the way, but I think I don't know if you can really call any game in the NCAA tournament a trap game because crazy stuff happens all the time.
Yep.
But it wouldn't surprise me to see them drop out early because they're another team too, kind of like Creighton, where they tend to score less, not at home. Yeah. And they aren't really much of a defensive team. They're an outscore you team. So if they're not getting buckets falling and I think they are just susceptible to that, having a cold night and not being able to win ugly, maybe.
Well, I think they average about 80 points a game. I was kind of looking at that.
That big oaf Garza.
Yeah, and it's not really even him. It's just when everybody crashes to him, when the guys are on and they can shoot the three.
Just kicks it out.
Oh yeah, kicks it out, and that's what it gets. But believe me, Zach, I was looking for an upset with Grand Canyon. The Antelopes.
Looking for any edge you could find.
Yeah, eating the popcorn, but I see Iowa taking that pretty easily. But the next game, so VCU, they came out a few years ago pretty hot, and I think they went to the Sweet 16 or Elite 8. Mm-hmm. But Dana Altman with Oregon, old Creighton guy, I think they're going to knock.
Bode well.
Yeah, they're going to knock off Iowa. He's done way better at Oregon than he did at Creighton, which he also better conference. Right. Maybe not now, but
from where he came, or from the time he came.
At the time. But do you see anything else on this left side that?
Not up there. I mean, I think Gonzaga's got a pretty straightforward trip to, honestly, the championship game.
Oklahoma, Missouri is kind of a toss-up for me.
Right, yeah. I don't know much about that matchup. Everything I've heard is just it's basically 50-50. And I think the betting line might even be a pick 'em, like straight up.
Yeah.
that way. So I'll be curious to see what happens there. But I think if Gonzaga doesn't make it to the championship game, that's something went wrong, right?
Oh yeah. Well, they might have played Kansas early in the year. I know Creighton played Zags, didn't they? And they got their ass beat.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
they played
sure.
Who? Kansas?
No, Creighton and Gonzaga played.
Yeah, I believe so. I don't have my sweet cheat sheet on this computer.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm trying not to take a time out to go fetch it.
So who do you have in the Elite Eight on that left side of the bracket for the West and the East?
For the West, I got Gonzaga and probably. Oh man, Head says Iowa.
Ooh,
I have trouble. I can't say that with conviction though. I don't think that actually happens. I almost want to say Gonzaga USC. It's kind of
you're just off. You're on
my strange path there.
Honestly, so I have Kansas in the Elite Eight.
Yeah,
but watch them get beat by Eastern Washington.
I was not gonna lie. I was trying to look for something there.
Yeah, you try to look for that stuff.
I know. But I couldn't convince myself of Eastern Washington. I hope it happens, but I couldn't convince myself enough to go with that team.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think we might have a problem.
Something turn off.
I don't see any video.
Yeah, that is. See, I'm glad we kept that on there.
Yeah.
If you could get that meme that I sent Zach with the antelope eating the popcorn.
Oh, that was. we can get that in there. We can get that in there.
I don't know if we can, but I don't want to.
There's got to
cause too much for you.
That was hilarious. Oh.
Because I had to look up what they were. I'm like, what the hell is Grand Canyon? What would they even be?
I don't know.
The Hoover Dams?
Why it existed that it was eating popcorn. But
I initially saw the first one where it's just the guy or just the antelope doing that.
Yeah.
And then underneath it was the popcorn. I'm like, yes.
Oh, that was perfect.
I had to use it.
Oh, wait, no, it is right. Okay, never mind. All right. That was fucking hilarious.
So we'll go back on the East.
Okay.
So who do you got for the Elite Eight?
So for the East,
well, wait,
Elite Eight. We're dedicated clappers. Let me get my bearings straight because I honestly.
This one was tough for me.
Yeah, I don't love Michigan's draw as a 1 seed, to be honest with you.
Really?
I don't think it's like bad, but like similar to Iowa, where it's kind of like I expect them to take care of business, but like part of me is like, watch out, right?
Oh yeah.
Like I think LSU in that second round. I don't know. I'm not saying. I'm just saying I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know there, but
And I was sorry to cut you off. I was looking at that LSU St. Bonaventure. I don't know if you remember a few years ago. St. Bonaventure had a really good. He was like a center.
Yeah.
But he could shoot the three. He was shooting like 55% from three or something crazy.
Stretch the floor center.
Yeah. And they might have won their first game, and it was like an upset that everybody knew was going to happen. So I was looking at that, but they have no depth. I'd put that as a note.
Yeah.
They have no depth. LSU, they just went to the SEC championship game. So that's
I think that's
second round game. Michigan, number 1 seed, has probably the hardest game if LSU makes it through.
I agree with that, and I kind of got my eyes on LSU, unfortunately, which kind of goes against my thesis of going heavy Big Ten because I think I'm kind of a believer if you've got what I believe is the strongest conference. And then it comes to like a bunch of non-conference games.
Oh yeah,
go with the strong conference. They've been playing good teams all year.
Yeah,
and even if they've kind of slumped a little bit recently.
Well, and that goes with. I don't know if you heard the big stories on one of the Ohio players. So he came down. He sent out his own tapes. He went to a random tournament.
Okay.
with his buddies. Like, we need an extra guy. Can
Like
you come
Uncle
to this
Drew
tournament?
type shit?
Yeah, like it was like an AAU tournament or something in high school. One of his friends, asked we needed another player, and he's like, well, he's good enough. So he played there, and actually a coach saw him, and he's like, a high school coach. He's like, we want you to play with us. So there was like an A, B, C, D team, and he played for the C team. They moved him all the way up to A, and then they dropped him down to C, like the last game or something. And he said it was like playing with a bunch of middle schoolers. He put up like a triple double, and he's like,
Why
it's
the
just.
fuck did they drop him back down for the last game?
I'm not sure why. That's what they were talking about. But he had
Give him more highlights for his college tapes or something?
Yeah, I don't know his name, but hell of a story.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going Ohio on that one. That's why I picked him. But
I like it.
anyways, we'll go back. That's kind of off topic.
No, I like it. I'm down for a little heartstring underdog story. I just like that they put him back up against the C team.
Well, he probably got in trouble, or maybe I don't know.
I'm gonna make my own reality and choose to believe that his coach did it to give him one last highlight reel performance.
Yeah. Well,
before he
and
moved
actually
on.
that was in high school. He wasn't getting recruited at all, and he sent out. So that last game on the C team, he sent out his own highlight reel, and that's when Ohio saw him. He went to UCF or he went somewhere just to go to school.
Yeah.
And then he sent out that highlight reel, and they saw him. So it's a hell of a story, and that's what
I support it.
never back down. Keep trying. You gotta get up.
Oh man.
But so I have Michigan and Bama. The only reason why I picked Bama over Michigan State is because I just don't see Michigan and Michigan State going to the Elite Eight at the same time. Pick one or the other.
That's
one
fair.
or the other.
That's fair. I like that. I think I got Michigan, Connecticut. I'm gonna go Michigan, Connecticut. And again, it's mostly my anti-Bama bias.
Yeah.
Again, more heart than head. That seems to be a growing theme on this podcast. Krame D going with his heart over his head. But
you got to go.
You
with
don't
the
live
gut.
with conviction. Are you really even living?
You go with the gut. We're the Beer Guts Sports Network.
Exactly.
We go with our gut every single time.
Oh, it's a beautiful world. More beautiful words have never been spoken.
But I actually have Connecticut getting beat against Maryland. I didn't write any notes on that game.
Hey,
out of all the games I didn't write notes, I looked at that one the most because I think that's one of the tougher ones to pick, honestly. Either one of those teams can beat Bama. Maryland, they didn't have the best year, but they played pretty solid teams, and they played pretty solid when they played those top tier Big Ten teams. So,
and I think that tells a lot more about a team than like as much as I am eyeing some teams for big upsets. It's like, man, you haven't really played anybody this year.
Yeah.
It's a lot tougher to tell.
And Maryland never popped, but they're playing against. I mean, Big Ten has 2 1 seeds and 2 2 seeds. Holy crap! I just realized that. We have 4 of the top 8 teams in the tournament.
Yeah. No,
I didn't even realize that until now.
And I mean, I was looking at some of like the top 8 rankings for like offensive efficiency and like different team stats, and you just see Big Ten team after Big Ten team. They're like 4 out of the top 8 were the most have some of the most of efficient offenses. It's again why when you're playing against other solid teams in the Big Ten and you're still able to put up those kind of numbers. That's why I'm kind of leaning all in on Big Ten teams here. As much as I hate a lot of other Big Ten teams, just because they're like, I basically have to call them daddy every football season. Fucking sucks.
Hopefully not soon, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Volleyball, we got you. Watch it.
Except for we'll split with Ohio
I
State.
guess, don't know if I'm kind of sick of that. The left side of the bracket. I kind of
we can move on.
We actually, so Baylor, Hartford, Baylor, obviously I think is going to win that one.
Yep.
Tough game. That was the second one that I looked at the most. North Carolina and Wisconsin.
Yeah, I think I think Wisconsin got screwed on the seeding. And again, so I have a proprietary algorithm that I stole from the internet that says Wisconsin systematically got screwed the most on their seeding. And not only from a deviation in terms of something about an S curve. I don't really fully understand it, but it sounded smart. But from where they were supposed to be theoretically to where they ended up. So not only do they get boned in that regard, but if you get by North Carolina, you immediately get a 1 seed in Baylor. You just they just got it from all sides. But you know me, I love a good underdog story. That cemented them in my heart as the black horse of this tournament.
And I think Baylor is the weakest out of the 1 seeds. So they obviously won a lot of games, and
so maybe the stars are aligning.
Yeah, and this is also kind of taking what Brett's been saying. He watches every single Big 12 team almost, and he didn't.
Well, you have to when Iowa State sucks.
Iowa State, I think, lost to Baylor by 3 or 5, and they have 2 wins this year. Shout out Iowa State.
You did something almost.
But I do have Wisconsin beat North Carolina. It's kind of hard to bet against North Carolina in anything. They're kind of like Duke this year. They're
right.
It's just a weird year with all the teams. Kentucky's not in. It doesn't seem right.
And I think so the Wisconsin North Carolina game is the game. I'm betting. I probably it's tight spread wise, but it's probably the game I want to bet the most. And I think Wisconsin to cover. I think Wisconsin gets a point and a half or something like that. I almost want to take them straight up, but I think because I've got some intel. I'll touch on it after the after we kind of get through our bracket. Some what I'm looking at betting wise, but Wisconsin fits the mold of what I'm looking at, and I think they got it straight. I think North Carolina has that kind of like brand reputation when it comes to Joe Blow betting on the tournament, right? Yeah. And so like they might get money going for them just on that fact, and then Wisconsin plays ugly basketball. It's not sexy. Nobody wants to bet on Wisconsin.
Yeah, and you got teams like North Carolina that want to run and gun. It just when they stop, they take the entire shot clock to get a shot off. It ruins your flow as a fast-paced team.
Oh yeah,
and that's another way, and Wisconsin does it so well because they get points off of it too.
Right.
That's why I don't like Virginia. They don't get points off of it. Wisconsin can still score 75 points a game.
Right. And they seem to have some pretty good defensive numbers against the 3-ball too. So like that's kind of why I'm looking for them. I'm curious to see if they get by North Carolina, what the line's going to be like against Baylor, because I want to hammer Wisconsin to cover. I don't know if I don't know if they'll win outright, but
I'm on that train.
That's the bet I'm looking forward to the most.
I think they do play zone too. North Carolina, Wisconsin, whoever wins that game is going to make it to the Elite 8.
Okay,
I think.
I like the conviction of the take. I can't say that I've arrived at the same conclusion, but I like it.
In my bracket, I had them going to the Sweet 16, but that's just because my weird mindset. When I have upsets, I have to have them get beat the next game. It's like a weird. I don't know if my dad inbred that in me or what. But
everybody's got to have a system.
Yeah, I'm gonna move on if you're fine with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Not much to talk about with this Villanova Winthrop, right?
I don't have much for that. I think Villanova's got some injury stuff.
Well, if I'm saying if Winthrop was playing anybody else other than the 5 seed of Villanova, I probably would have picked them.
Yeah,
they're 23-1. They had one loss like the 7th game of the season and just did not look back. Their games, they blew out everybody.
They're coming into the tournament too hot.
Well, they're also playing nobodies. But if you think about it, they're playing nobodies. They should beat them.
Right.
And they did, handedly. They're 23-1. I would not be surprised if they won.
I like it. I wonder...
Villanova might overlook them, but that's a veteran coach. Villanova, they've always done well in the tournament. They won 2 years in a row, didn't they?
Stable ship. I want to try to find... I wonder if I'm making stuff up. I thought the line was moving in kind of a
On that Nova game?
yeah. I want to say people were trying to bet on the upset there, but I can't find that.
Statistically speaking, the 5 and 12 games are really, I don't see those as upsets too much, because that 12 seed is usually like the winner of a lower conference, and they're not bad. They don't get the recognition because they're not playing very good competition.
The strength of schedule argument. Yep.
And the depth behind it and everything like that. But
understandable, but I think also when it comes to the tournament, people love looking for upsets too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Which the 12 seed, I think that's the one that wins the most. Not out of the 5, but like out of the higher seeds, I think that's the one that wins the most. Not counting the 8 and 9.
The most upset prone.
Yeah. So.
Oh wait, I found it here. Let me see if I was onto something or if I'm misremembering.
So I do have one while you're looking that up.
Oh no, the lines pretty much stayed the same. I'm making shit up.
Do you think there's going to be more upsets in the 5 against 12 or the 4 against 13 this year?
It's a good question. Let me bring my bracket back up here. 5, 12, or 4 and 13? Wait, yeah.
Because I think I have it equal right now. And I didn't look into North Texas and Purdue. Purdue is not impressed me.
What about 14, 3? No,
14, 3. Oh, we can do that.
No. That's later.
Which,
I'm gonna go.
And honestly, so West Virginia and Morehead State. That's another Morehead State. I think they got shafted with who they're playing because they match up pretty well with anybody else except West Virginia.
Right.
I just see West Virginia being too good.
It's tragic, really. Man, well, I'm kind of thinking 5-12. Because through no research of my own, I can see Winthrop over Villanova. Again, from a non-research perspective, and I am selling the farm on Creighton. I'm not a Creighton believer in the first round, so I think if you hit 2 out of 4, that's gonna be tough for 4-13 to beat.
I have it right now. 2 5 seeds are gonna get beat, and 2 4 seeds are gonna get beat.
Oh, you got a tie?
Yeah.
You can't. That's cheating.
That's why I brought that up, because that was hard for me to pick on those games.
What kind of trick question is this?
It's not a trick question. You answer it, and however your gut decides.
All right.
We brought this up earlier.
Fair enough. You got me.
Look,
that's a good point. I mean, because I think we were both at 2 upsets.
Yeah.
Or I was at 2 upsets on.
And I honestly. No, never mind. I do have one 14 seed team that's...
I do... Going guts, I do like Liberty. Liberty. Oh, I shouldn't
That's
sing.
Another one.
I should not sing. That's a fact.
That's another one where if they weren't... Oklahoma State is hot right now. They have a great point guard or shooting guard. I think he kind of plays both. They made it all the way to the championship game. They should have beat Texas. Could have beat Texas.
Yeah.
I do have Liberty beating them.
I like that. I agree with you. But I don't think Purdue drops to North Texas. You've got Ohio over Virginia, so I don't know enough to weigh in there, but I respect it. But I don't see Florida State dropping. So I think I'm gonna stick with my original answer, but I respect the 2-2 on both.
Oh yeah.
I respect that take.
There is 100% going to be a 13 seed beating a 4. And I think it's going to be 50-50 with the 5 to 12. Like, I think it's going to be 2 12 seeds are going to beat them.
Well, personally, I'd love to see it, especially in this wacky season.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're prone to some chaos here, right?
Well, go back with the Oklahoma State Liberty. Liberty's on a 14-game win streak. Did you know that?
Right. I saw that, and part of it is, they haven't really played anybody. Who did they played one? I think their one loss was.
But I think look at their
But it's one of those things
points
where
per game. I think they shoot. They shoot the ball.
they shoot well, and they shoot well from 3.
And it's somebody. I gotta throw a shout out to Grandpa Shafe. He always says you have to score to win, and you have to shoot to score. Shoot the ball. Shoot.
Exactly.
That's why. I always get mad when I miss, but they look at me. No, keep shooting. I know. I'm gonna keep shooting the ball. I don't care.
Shoot or shoot. There's only one way to get out of a slump, right? You got to shoot your way out.
Oh
of
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Exactly.
I'm all for shooting. So don't throw up stupid fadeaways. I mean, unless you're Kobe.
Right.
Rest in peace. But,
you want to take smart shots.
oh yeah.
But let me get to. Oh, I'm just spill all of our scotch.
Yeah. Too much scotch before this.
Let me.
No.
There's no such thing. On a Tuesday. Anyways, yeah, I think Liberty, if they fire off a bunch of 3 balls, I think it could happen. And then Oklahoma State isn't the most 3 heavy team themselves.
No.
And so it's I think there's just a chance. Well, yeah.
And I think they're younger. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma State's a little younger. Liberty, especially. That's another thing with these lower end teams coming in. They're all juniors and seniors. They've been playing for a while.
Right.
They know what they're doing. You got these,
You don't
the
get
one
those
and
early
dones.
exit.
One and dones
Yeah.
with them. I have Liberty winning. I honestly think if Oklahoma State can get past Liberty, they might make it to the Final Four. Mm-hmm. But I have Liberty beating them. I think they're going to overlook them. They're looking at Tennessee on the next week,
right.
which is another one I want to talk about because
Yeah, and if Liberty comes out shooting hot, I mean they're shooting 38.8% from 3 on the year, and that puts them at 10th of all the tournament teams.
Yeah,
but I mean again the competition hasn't been super fierce.
Yep.
I mean they've lost to Missouri and TCU and Purdue when they've played some solid teams, but I mean they didn't exactly get blown out by any of those teams. The worst was Purdue at like a 13-point margin, but that was their first game. I finally got my cheat sheet up. Shout out to your boys. I don't know if you could tell, but I think if they just come out, I think if you're Liberty, you just come out, huck the 3 ball, hope you start off hot, and you put Oklahoma State behind the 8 ball a little bit. I think they got a chance. They got a puncher's chance.
And that's with any team coming in that's lower end. If you stay in the game at half, you start getting they're getting nervous. You're like,
you build a little more confidence.
We're the 3 seed. We're supposed to blow these guys out. Why aren't we doing it?
They got all the pressure on them.
Yeah, and then you have nothing to lose. You run and gun.
Agreed.
And that's leading into my Colgate against Arkansas. I am starting this because
get in there.
I have looked at this game.
Go off, King.
All the way. I am full on Colgate over Arkansas. 4 out of 5 dentists recommend Colgate over Arkansas. So
there it is.
They do only have 15 games on the season.
Can't believe I didn't see that coming.
But I've been waiting to say that since this came out. I've been ready.
Oh, I love it.
No, so Colgate, I mean, they've only played 15 games. Arkansas has played 28, which I think goes into Colgate's favor on this one. Usually less games, you're not with your team or anything like that.
Right.
Arkansas playing a tough SEC. They're getting a lot better on the basketball. They're getting beat down. They're scoring a lot. This is going to be a very high scoring game. I would not be surprised if both of them get into hundreds, honestly.
I subscribe.
Yes.
I want to watch that.
Colgate's 3rd in the country with points with 86, over 86 points per game.
Shoot, showing up on all these.
Yeah, they're as a team, they're shooting over 40% from 3. As a team,
And they play up tempo.
oh yeah,
Wow, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm learning so much. You have
yes.
Man,
I looked into this, so we got Burns, the 2 guards, Burns and Ferguson. One's shooting 41%. That's pretty good. The other one's shooting 50% from 3. And then not to mention 2 others are 38 and 37% shooting from 3. Their 6th man coming off the bench shooting 47% from 3. So when you bring one of them out,
They got fucking James Harden on the bench.
Yes.
What is that shit?
and when you look back, so that 6th man is averaging 13, 15 points or minutes per game. So they're coming in. This isn't some low end team where they bring somebody in and you just some little white boy that doesn't know what he's doing.
Right.
This guy knows how to shoot. I don't know what color he is. We're bipartisan on that. But
It's just something we call everybody.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But if you look at the teams that have made runs in the tournament,
Yeah.
George Mason in 2006, they shot the ball. They beat the number 1 seed UConn. 2 shot over 35% from 3. Another 2 were over 34%. So they were right up there with them, and even lower. They went through Michigan State, North Carolina, Wichita State when they were at their prime, and UConn to get all the way there. And they eventually got beat by Florida, who was the eventual national champions. Yeah, I think that might have been right before them because he was like 08, 09.
Okay. I'm not good with my history.
Yeah, that was Florida when they were pretty perennial or perennial. I don't know. 2010 Butler. I'm going on with this.
Dude,
2010 Butler with Gordon Hayward. Last second heave gets beat by Duke. They were an 8 or 9 seed.
Yeah.
They shot the 3 all the way. And everybody already knows Davidson with Stephen Curry, who has changed the NBA.
Right.
When you were talking about earlier about
Right, yeah.
I think he changed the NBA by throwing up the 3.
Right.
If you're making those shots, there's nothing you can do.
Right.
And
Especially when it expands the floor to the degree.
Oh yeah.
To that degree.
Oh yeah. So Stephen Curry that year, I didn't hear about him. I'm sure there's other people talking about him. They played the number 1 seed North Carolina that year, and they lost by 3 at like the 4th game of the season. They played Duke and UCLA, losing by single digits. So shooters win games. And I am going full on Colgate. 4 out of 5. Recommend.
You know what they say? It's you get a hot.
Yeah.
It just takes a hot hand and then you just ride the hot guy.
Yeah.
As they say.
Oh yeah, I'm going full in on them because they shoot the ball. They do have a guy 6'10" underneath. He gets the rebounds.
So they're not completely one dimensional.
Oh no. They have him there. But that's why I was looking at Arkansas. They have a 7'3" guy.
Okay.
But I think he's a bench player.
Like a Taco Fall.
Yep. I'd say he's somewhere around there. Even though isn't Taco like 7'6" or
Yeah,
something?
he's taller than that. But it's the
that's
same kind of
ridiculous.
deal where it's like tall, but maybe you just lumber around, can't keep up with the pace of play.
Oh yeah.
So.
But I mean, they have a few taller guys. They also average 82 points a game. That's why I think
Yeah.
they're 12th in the nation on that.
I'm fully convinced. I think I am okay with it. I think 2 votes is a majority on a 4-person podcast, right? So I think we can officially switch the rails over from being a local Big Ten, Nebraska, Iowa State podcast. I think we're just gonna be a full on Colgate podcast from here on out.
Yep.
Like you said, 4 out of 5 dentists recommend, and who am I to disagree?
I am going to the store right now and getting me a box of Colgate just for this tournament.
Crest? Nah. Colgate. That's right.
But so I think this might be one of the closer games in the first round.
Yeah.
Very high scoring. The key is if Colgate not even winning at halftime, but if they're sticking around and they're shooting the ball, Arkansas needs to get the offensive rebounds. If Colgate can get their offensive rebounds, which they bounce out, doesn't matter how tall you are when it bounces.
Those are tricky to get.
Yes.
If it's coming off a lot of 3 balls.
Yeah. Offensive rebounds, if they can get those, and I mean, shooting twice, 2 or 3 times on a trip down the court, you're gonna win. You're gonna win ball games.
Oh, for sure. Especially, dude. When this idea was first floated out there, I was like, all right, what the hell is Trevor smoking again? He forgot to take his what's your Joe Rogan stuff?
Alpha Brain.
Your Alpha Brain.
Brought to you by Alpha Brain.
He's off the Alpha Brain. It's not gonna make any sense. And then it's one of those things where it's so easy to talk yourself into something like this.
Oh,
too,
yes.
where I'm like they can shoot the three well.
And just like anybody, you look at where's the Cinderella this year? What's going to happen?
Right.
I have them in the Final Four.
Let's go. Fuck it.
I went all in on it.
I'm not high on Ohio State. So am I in the right section there?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm not super high on Ohio State.
Yep.
Yeah. Fuck it. I think Wisconsin versus Colgate in the South.
That's what I had. Well, actually, I have Nova in there.
Details.
But that's also I don't really like that one.
That's we're calling that the upset section of or quadrant of the bracket, I guess.
I am calling Colgate in the Final Four. They're gonna have a tough match against either Nova or Wisconsin. I'm calling it.
I like it.
But they're gonna get burnt out because they haven't played a lot of games, so that's why I haven't getting beat.
Just a little conditioning.
Yeah. They'll learn from it. And that's another. So Colgate seniors, they're all seniors except one junior. Arkansas has their freshman star point guard.
That is an underrated point.
Yes.
I think.
They have the seniors. Arkansas has a freshman. I think he turns the ball over like four or five times a game. Arkansas as a whole, I think, turns it over like 15 times.
Ooh.
They turn the ball over. So if I'm thinking of the right one.
Well, and if that's the case, it's kind of a recipe of disaster.
Oh yeah,
for disaster waiting to happen. If you're susceptible to turnovers and the other team's susceptible to lighten it up from three, that can be a compounding.
The offensive rebounds. So
especially when I think Colgate likes to push the ball. I think I saw him up there on the pace of play too. So it's like if they're just going to keep going pedal to the metal and they get some buckets to fall, the next thing you know, you're chasing a few points and you're the 3 seed. Dude, that's not a fun mental space to be in.
And even if you're still beating them the whole game. If you're not up by 8 to 10 points consistently, you're kind of in the back of your head like, man, they're just sticking around.
Right.
And it's,
when are we going to put this away?
You have a team that they hit 2-3 threes in a row. That's 9 points right there. It's
right. It can turn around so quick, especially if it's like 3 turnover 3.
Yeah,
it's and
Colgate's a team fast break. They're shooting threes.
People are putting money on Colgate. That the line slipping. They've gotten a full point swing since the line opened up. It went from 9.5 of help to 8.5.
I want to say I did not look at any lines. I did not look at anybody else's takes. I looked at the games, their stats, and their players.
I like it.
That's all.
This
is all authentic Trevor.
I looked at the lines after. That's what I was doing before you came over. I was like, that was kind of the one piece.
Yeah.
I had some betting themes I wanted to explore, so I was checking out some lines before you got over here. And so you're not the only one that's got their eye there. And I
man,
like I said, you've convinced me.
Well, Barstool, I'm open. We can join in your podcast if you need.
Speaking of line swings and that same seed, what is that? 14? No. Why am I?
14-3.
14-3. Yeah. Speaking of 14-3 teams really swinging lines, Liberty versus Oklahoma State. That line has moved 2 points. Am I a broken record? Did I already say that?
That's 13-4, not 4 and.
Well, the numbers are so small.
I mean, I think we talked about it earlier.
I'm looking at them on the bracket. It's kind of like dyslexic.
And when you came in and you said you're all about Liberty, I know. So we had a moment this football season
yes.
when Liberty was actually doing pretty well in football. Yeah. Shout out to Liberty. They're well coached.
Put some respect on their name.
They had a last second 3 and they said Liberty won. Well, Liberty won. That sounds like a.
Obviously, we're in America.
That sounds like Air Force One.
Right. Yeah.
But I look over at him. We're at John's. There's Liberty.
Oh man.
Yeah,
you can't let that jingle.
Yeah,
it just can't escape your head. I don't think
it stays in there.
And to go
Brought to you by Liberty Insurance.
Exactly. They use Colgate. To go with an all-time jingle, I think maybe they got an all-time upset of Bruin. It's a similar kind of argument where it's like if you can line it up from 3, betting. Oh yeah, bettors are putting money on Liberty too. So I'm curious to see that. That almost makes me want to go the other way. I think in my bracket, I'll take Liberty, but if I'm just betting money line, it's tough not to take 2 additional points on Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State is a very good team, so that's why both of those teams kind of got shafted on their first game, and so that game, the Colgate game, North Carolina, Wisconsin, and what was the other one? Connecticut, Maryland, I think, are the toughest first round games. Yeah. Oklahoma, Missouri.
That's
which we really didn't talk a lot about that. Oklahoma, I think, got shafted just like Wisconsin did on their picks.
But you know why I didn't talk about it?
Nobody likes Big 12.
Well, I don't give 2 shits if Oklahoma gets shafted. That's a good day for me.
Yeah. See, as much as we had our thing with Oklahoma, it was a very respected rivalry that we had.
But I don't have to respect them anymore.
That's true. Because we tried to pull out and then, which I don't know the technicalities.
Right.
We looked horrible.
Yeah, that was not good optics.
Yeah, did not like Nebraska. That at all. That's why that would just make it so much sweeter if we actually somehow won. We'd be like, hey, we tried to leave.
We're like a decade due for a quality win, right? Like we gotta.
Yeah, we are.
We're good at. Man, we keep some close, or maybe not in the current regime, but we're good at losing close games. But just give us one rivalry win, and I can go to bed a happy man, at least for a week or two.
So we're talking about that Liberty game. On that Tennessee Oregon State game might be just as tough. That might be the toughest 4 teams in the tournament together. Tennessee, Oregon State. Oregon State was 6th in their conference, and they won the tournament.
That's insane.
Oklahoma State, so Liberty won theirs. Tennessee, I mean, they're right up there.
Yep.
I have Tennessee going to the Sweet 16, but
do you?
Oregon State could easily beat Tennessee. They haven't impressed me. Sorry, David, but he would probably say the same thing. He's very hard on them. I don't know what your take. I don't know who you picked on that one.
No, I didn't spend too much time there, so I don't disagree.
It might be an overlook.
It might be. I'm kind of just. I'm just kind of like taking the wait and see. I only really spent my time on Liberty there, and so I'm just kind of waiting to see what plays out there. I think Illinois walks in. I think I'm taking Illinois to win the whole thing. So
really,
I think that's going to be the route I go.
I do have them in the championship, but Gonzaga, I haven't been high on them all year, but they can't lose. Do they have 1 loss?
No, they're undefeated. They're in contention to make history, being the second team to go undefeated and win the whole thing.
Yeah, if they can pull Kentucky it off. Was the other one, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Shout out to the team that first time Duke and Kentucky has not been in the tournament at the same time since 1964. I think Brett said.
I remember back then.
Yeah, fact checking with Brett. So
that's why I wear a beanie. So if it's on my hairline, you'd know I was born in 1964.
That's why I haven't cut the back in a while. Good Lord, that looked horrible on that.
Yeah, so I think I have Illinois coming out of there, so I didn't spend a whole lot of time. I'm gonna say fuck it. Illinois versus Liberty. Illinois takes it. I think I got burnt out on my research when I got down to the Midwest. I do like Rutgers. That was another one where the odds makers essentially have it as a pick 'em. I think Rutgers is actually favored now.
See that that was another game. The winner of that one's going to win. They're going to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I support that take. I don't really know much about Houston, but
you know what my hottest take is?
What is it?
Cleveland State, number 15 seed, knocks off Houston.
There you go.
I am calling that.
Let's go Iona versus Cleveland State in the championship.
That would be nuts.
That's one interpretation. Yeah.
I think so. That game is going to be a low scoring game. Cleveland State, their team, their players, I think 10 of their players average almost the same amount of minutes per game. They rotate them out.
They stay fresh.
Yeah, they stay fresh. They play defense. I think they give up some of the least amount of points.
Okay.
They're gonna Houston. I think Houston is probably one of the most underlooked teams because I haven't heard anything about them.
Right.
They
is that why you're gonna underlook them now and go with Cleveland?
No,
State?
I looked at them. I don't think they have. They might have one top 25 win.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a similar.
But they played Cincinnati, so Cincinnati's pretty good. Which I don't think they even made it, did they? No, Cincy's not in it.
I think so.
So never mind. That was like their top win.
Their marquee win
was Cincinnati.
The team that's playing the NIT.
And that's why I said Iowa was the second best or second worst second seed team, because Cleveland State is going to knock off Houston.
Okay.
And that's why I have Clemson beating Cleveland State in the second round.
I like it.
But SDSU is going to the Elite Eight. San Diego State.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because I still think
mad at
Morehead State and West Virginia will be a closer game than people think.
Mm-hmm.
And SDSU actually looked pretty good all year.
Like I said, I got burnt out on my research down here, so I'm just going to blindly trust you.
I did that because I knew I was going to get burnt out. I started on the right side of the bracket.
I love it.
Honestly, the West, there isn't too much shakeup there other than the first round.
Right.
There really isn't a shakeup.
It's not too bad. No, and
it's one of the blah.
I agree with you. It's kind of like, the Oklahoma Missouri toss up. I got Creighton dropping it. I spent too much time there just because they're close to home. Iowa.
When you said you wanted to talk about Creighton, I thought you were thinking they're gonna beat the Zags or something.
No. I think I started out trying to look for an argument, like, hey, maybe they can make a run, and then I just kind of hit roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, and I just think they're taking up. I can't shake the feeling that they're just gonna pull out the usual Creighton disappointment, and drop it.
And I can see that too.
Yeah.
Who's
not that I'm necessarily rooting for that, but
right?
That's just what I kind of foresee happening.
So I already told you mine with Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Which number 1 or 2 team will be the first to drop out? Do you think?
Well, Alabama's dropping the first game. Just kidding. I think the most likely one, like I said, Wisconsin's my dark horse.
Right.
So
this isn't what your pick is on the bracket. What do you think? Just looking at the 1 and 2 seeds, who's the first one to drop out?
I think the most likely would be a Wisconsin upset of Baylor in round 2, or Iowa having a bad shooting night and dropping one to Oregon, maybe. It's
I can see that.
Like, I think those are the two.
You're not down on Rutgers, Clemson down there with Houston?
I don't know enough about Houston, to be honest with you. I don't know enough about Houston.
I looked at that and thought that was wild that they were number 2.
I will be betting if Rutgers beats Clemson and then Houston's favored, I will be betting Rutgers to cover though. As part of my system against Houston, I'll be betting Rutgers to cover. And I think I don't know, maybe Alabama, Iowa, and Baylor all drop in the second round. I think that's my prediction.
Well, I have 1, 2. I do have 3 teams: Houston, Baylor. Well, Houston on the first round, so I have Houston on that. But Iowa and Baylor dropping in the second round for the 1s and 2s. But so Memphis, they were in my why they didn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
So they lost their last game to Houston by 2 points.
Oh, another marquee win for Houston then.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. That's their best win is against a last 4 out team, and their number 2 seed.
Well,
that I think that's what I looked at, and I thought that might be
right. Yeah, I mean, I as a believer in strength of schedule,
yep,
that makes me. I think Rutgers Rutgers Clemson knocks out Houston. I don't know if I believe in
And
Cleveland State.
I said that.
Yeah.
Whoever wins that game, which I have Clemson, is going to beat Cleveland State.
That's hot takes. Hot takes.
No. It's on here as the hottest take.
The hottest take.
The 15 seed is going to beat number 2 Houston.
I like
the hottest take.
I like it. But I kind of agree with you now that you got to stop. It's kind of weird to me that you're making sense to me. This is not a universe I'm used to living in, I don't think.
Oh, I know. It's been a weird year. When Trevor's been making sense, we need to take a step back.
It's strange fucking times, man.
Yeah.
And I think so. I've alluded to this a couple times. I think my betting. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to place these bets. I want to, but I'm usually too lazy to actually go to the casino and put the work in. Right? Yeah. But I noticed a couple trends from this super duper spreadsheet I stole from the internet that I have no idea if it's accurate or not, but it spit out some good numbers.
Okay.
And I trust random numbers. It's kind of like I'm like a stock market guy. If the stock market shows random numbers, and I trust them. 70%
of numbers are made up.
Exactly. That's so probably on the low side. But what I'm watching out first and foremost, I'm watching out for Big Ten underdogs. They've been 5-8-1 against the spread since 2005 in the tournament. So any Big Ten dog, my plan is to take them on the spread. There's only one Big Ten dog in the. Actually, I don't know if there's a Big Ten
Wisconsin
dog. Is Wisconsin
a dog?
Wisconsin's technically a dog. That's the only Big Ten dog.
Rutgers isn't a dog
in the first
Clemson?
round. Rutgers, they started out, I think, as a pick'em, but Rutgers is actually favored by a point now.
Wow.
So, and then also the other thing I'm looking for is
Michigan State's not, by the way. Sorry.
Michigan State is not a dog. I think they're a 2-point favorite.
Maybe on the second game.
They might. I think they will be on the second game,
which is technically still the first round.
Right. They're
back
not
to our too many play-in games. NCAA.
They're not a dog on the play-in game, but then because it's a play-in, they don't have a release line release for the actual one. But if they are a dog, I will be betting the Big Ten dog. Okay. And then the other advanced stat is when the one I'm excited for is you have to wait till the Elite Eight is there, but when the top seed against the spread in the last 4 years, when you get to the Elite Eight, they're 32% against the spread. So betting the dog to cover in the Elite Eight, I think
70% win.
Yeah,
or just about 70.
It has been about 70% win, but that's only
I can see that
last 4 years. It's a smaller sample size, but I think it kind of feeds into. I think my theory is that it kind of taps into the general public underrating the Big Ten on the first one, and then loving favorites a little too much when it comes to Elite Eight time.
Well, and it's also once you get to that Elite Eight, Final Four, Sweet 16. All rankings go out the window.
Right.
I think.
I think so too. It's such a
And it's you're playing. You just played 3 games in the last 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
Or
it's such a high variance tournament. Right? 'Cause it's all just single elimination.
And basketball is all whether you're hot or cold.
Right. Especially in 2 20-minute halves. It's like that. And the final thing I'm looking for is favorites that are favored by 20.5 points or more, just like ginormous spreads. It's not a huge win margin. They still cover 45% of the time, but I figured fuck it. There's only 2 of those games in there in the first round, so I kind of want to throw those in there too. So that would put me at Hartford to cover. They're 26 points,
and the Gonzaga is the other one.
Drexel actually. I don't know what Gonzaga's not favored by 20 or more.
Oh, against Illinois?
Yeah. So those are my 2 big spread games that I think I want to cover the dog to bet the dog to cover. What is now you got me curious on the Gonzaga line. It's
so Zag's never they blow people out, but it's not pretty like you would think a undefeated number 1 team would be. They They rebound, they box out, they shoot the ball well.
Oh, that's why there's no line announced because of the play-in stitch.
Yeah.
So that might be why they're
Okay.
they're not on the list.
And I think Michigan would be another one that's 20.
Yeah. So I gotta keep an eye out when those lines get released because I think there's just a lot of points to cover, especially if you're up 30 and then you take your starters out the last 10 minutes of the game, right? It's just such a shit show when you get to those kind of margins.
Yep.
And then so the other things I'm betting, I want to hammer Wisconsin as the dogs. That goes with my first theme.
Yeah.
And then I also want to do, I think, a gut call parlay. Ooh, I don't know if I want to include Creighton. I kind of want to bet Creighton Santa Barbara straight up. Santa Barbara money line, that plus 255.
Yeah.
It's been swinging. But I think a gut call parlay, Michigan State to cover against UCLA, Liberty to cover against Oklahoma State. Not necessarily win straight up.
Cover.
Cover.
Okay.
Oklahoma State's only favored by 7.5. Oh no, I lied. I got that backwards. I want to bet on Oklahoma State to cover because they've gotten extra points because of how the money's flowed betting wise. So they want to cover 7.5 instead of 9.5.
That's going to be a last second heave.
It might be. Like, again, I think if I'm filling out my bracket, I take Liberty. If I'm betting on this parlay, I think I take Oklahoma State to cover.
I respect that. Yeah.
And then I think the third game on that parlay is Rutgers with the spread. Because I think they're Rutgers to cover. I think they have to cover like a point. So
okay.
I think you'd end up with like a 3-1 payout. Nothing crazy, but that's the gut call parlay. And then the system bets are all individual. But I think if I can win, you got to win. You got to win one more than you lose, right?
Oh yeah. Looking at this, so how I said I have the 50-50 for the 5-12 to 4-13.
Mm-hmm.
I might do the 12 seeds that I think are going to win and the 13 seeds I think are going to win. I'm going to bet on all of them individually.
I like that. Yeah, and take the odds with it.
Yeah. Because I think if I win one out of those 4, I think I still win.
I think you probably do, or at least break even-ish. And if you get 2 out of the 4, you're sitting pretty.
Yeah. And I'm going straight up. I'm not doing.
Yeah. I like straight up when it comes to dogs.
Yes. Dogs straight up. That's where the money's at.
Yeah.
We got it.
Show me the money. I think we did a pretty good little breakdown.
We went a lot more in depth than I thought we were going to.
Yeah.
I did my Colgate thing because they're going to make it to the Final Four, but
and people always tell me, like, Kramer, I can't wait until March when you get to talk about college basketball. And I'm like, I know. Me too.
We've talked about it.
Yeah,
it's going to happen. I mean, the madness, just look at us.
It's taken over.
I got a mullet. He's got his beanie.
Yeah,
the madness is crazy.
When do you ever see me wear a beanie outside of this show?
3 and 4.
Every single day.
Yeah.
It's 110 degrees out. Beanie.
Not even. It's really just attached. It's kind of like my natural hair.
Yeah. No, it fits you. It looks good.
It's the vibe.
You got to keep it.
I appreciate it.
But I'm just gonna sort of end it off with Colgate 4 out of 5 recommend. Final 4. 4 Final 4 out of the 5 recommend.
Where they'll be facing off against Liberty and ultimately meeting Iona in the championship.
If that happens, we're doing a live podcast underneath in Moolah.
Yeah, if that happens, I'm buying lottery tickets. Actually, I like the live podcast.
Yeah,
in Moolah. Come join us.
Come join us, Moolah.
April
3rd.
Promo code Colgate. I think we nailed it, right?
Yeah, I think we're good on that.
Hell yeah. Nice.
Out.
Outie. We out.